We are building up to the start of race 7 of 15 in the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy. We're nearly at the halfway point of the series, and today we have got a bit of rain on Sunday morning. Light rain at the moment. The Weather Bureau says it feels like 7 degrees here in Taupo. The rain should clear. Strong southeasterlies during the course of the day. We are about 300 k's north of the capital, Wellington. This is an adventure playground with everything on offer, from skydiving, boating activity, fly fishing, and a whole lot more. It is a place you must come and check out if you come to the North Island here in New Zealand. Good morning, everybody. Greg Russ with you here live on YouTube, along with Rihanna Crean and all of our team. Really looking forward to this one, Ree. The state of play fundamentally is that we set the grid for this race on Sunday morning with an aggregate kind of performances in races 1 and 2, don't we?
Yeah, morning, Rusty. Morning, everybody. And it's fresh here at Taupo Motorsport Park. Or maybe that's just me from the Gold Coast, but plenty of action yesterday, particularly that second race. This new tyre strategy that has come into play has thrown all sorts of curveballs for this series, but the man who seems to be coming out on top each time is Ugo Chukwu.
Righto, we'll talk you through the grid very shortly with our commentators. Basically, the fastest lap from race 1 and the fastest from race 2 help us to determine the makeup, the look of the grid. Couple of talking points out of Saturday for you. Firstly, the Aussie supercar star, the rising star in Ryan Wood, claimed his first win in CTFROT. Really cool.
Huge moment for a young superstar. Ryan Wood claimed his first ever pole position, his first race win, and the fastest lap in yesterday's race as well. So really stamped his authority on this championship. So unfortunate that in round 1 he had that issue and was taken out in race 4, because I think he would have been one that would have been certainly in the championship mix at the top of the standings.
His performance on Saturday took him from 11th to 7th in the point standings. Now, separately, the second race of the weekend going to James Warden. That's the first win for an Aussie in the 2026 series, and importantly, a great win for TJ Speed with HMD Motorsports. Welcome to CTFROT. Good stuff.
Yeah, and I had a conversation with him earlier in the day, and he was really frustrated to this point in the championship, just hadn't been able to get on top of the car, and he was sort of, you know, pointing at himself, saying, I haven't done the best job, but really had a great second race yesterday to get that first victory.
Just to clarify, sorry, race 3 is coming up a little bit later. This is qualifying, I should say, for the feature race this afternoon. So we've got lots of talking points to cover for you on Sunday morning here on a wet Taupo. My brain's a little frazzled because of that. Apologies. Let's go to your commentators. Let's see what they do in these damp conditions. Richard Craill alongside Andrew Wade. Morning, boys.
Well, the commentators, Rusty, in these damp conditions, we're staying inside. I'm looking forward to seeing what the drivers do in the damp conditions in qualifying. This will set the grid for the feature race this afternoon, which is the Denny Holm Memorial Trophy, named after New Zealand's only Formula One world champion from 1967. We'll tell you more about the trophy later on today in our coverage, but it's a really special thing. It was, in fact, the last trophy Denny Holm won in his Formula One career, which is remarkable. Taupo International Motorsport Park. Gee, it turned some action on yesterday. A little over 3.3 kilometres, 14 corners, and some nice ebb and flow and some undulation around this terrific layout. It produced great racing, and I'm pretty certain in wet conditions it's going to produce a great qualifying session. To help talk me through it, I'm joined by Andrew Wade, who's the expert on all things in this category, and the 2021 champion of Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania, and won a big race in Bathurst last year as well, I think. Matt Payne's back alongside me. You liked commentary so much yesterday, you've come back for a second day, Matt. Good morning.
Good morning. It's it's good to be back in. I think today we're going to do all 3 sessions, so it's going to be pretty fun. I'm looking forward to it, but these boys have got a pretty tricky task this morning in terms of the wet track and just trying to see where the limits are and get a little bit adventurous.
My first question off the bat for you, Matt, you obviously race supercars here in the wet. There's so many different surface changes. What are you looking for through the session?
Oh, it is really tough. You got to definitely explore the lines and just try and justify if you're going to be going wide or narrow. Sometimes it is actually worth just running the normal line actually on the racing line. So it's each corner is each to their own, as you see a lot of the boys just sliding around there, coming out of the last corner trying to find some tyre temp.
Let's get a little bit more of an update on these conditions. Rihanna, what's it like in pit lane, and are you warm?
No, I tell you what, Krause, it's pretty fresh down here. I think it says it feels like 7 degrees. We had some heavy rain earlier this morning, but just very light spits of rain as this session starts to get underway. But I suppose the point we need to make is that these guys have done very limited running in the wet. A couple of teams opted to do 1 or 2 laps on Thursday in testing, but that's it. So this is really brand new to a lot of drivers.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be an interesting session with that as well. And the session, especially because there's no rain on the radar at the moment, there's no rain on track at the moment. Matt, is this just about being out there for as long as you possibly can, doing lap after lap, and by the last lap is where it's all going to happen?
Exactly. You could actually find that the tyre temp might rise and actually come to you until the end of the session. So you just actually keep driving around, which is actually quite funny. So you don't, might not come in for another set.
And the thing on is we got...
That's Trevor Latourette, who has spun on the exit of turn 1, and it immediately brings out the red flag. So that track evolution you were hoping for and getting the tyre temp up in the Pirelli wet weather tyre is not going to happen immediately. The red flag flies, there'll need to be a recovery, and then we'll get the session underway again.
At least it's going to be a very quick recovery, and I'd say what we'll see in this session is just about all the cars come in and then nearly just go line up in the pit lane. There's not really a lot you need to do. You wouldn't be wanting to bleed down tyre pressure or anything. Would you most likely just go sit at the end of the lane, Matt?
Yeah, 100%. You just sit there, try and refocus, and sort of see what you're going to do when you go back out. It looks like Trevor's spun at the exit of turn 1, and that's actually a new surface, a newly resurfaced part of the track from a couple of years ago. And I'd say that would actually be probably one of the more slipperier surfaces around here, as to some of the older stuff that's got a lot of gaps between the stones, where you actually find the tyre actually grips up quite a lot on the older stuff.
It's actually just a complete polar opposite from in the dry, isn't it? The grippy surface, which is a newer surface in the dry, is because you've got a perfectly flat, smooth surface, so the tyre is making complete contact with all that tarmac. But then that older stuff, it's like sandpaper, isn't it? You've got the rock sort of sitting out of it, so effectively not the whole tyre is making contact with the asphalt.
Yeah, it's the older stuff that actually digs the tyre more, because you have more gaps between the stones. That creates more friction. So let's go to Rusty in the lane.
I think I managed to catch a little conversation, Matt, this morning between Rihanna Crean and Fionn McLaughlin, just around maybe these conditions might be a little to your liking. What do you think, and what's the initial impressions of things out there on the track at the moment?
Yeah, it's quite slippy at the minute. Just trying to build into it really, but obviously a red flag there now. So yeah, just try to get out and get a few laps in and hopefully end up high in the field.
We've been thrilled to have you as a part of this series. We're nearly at the halfway mark, Fionn. How have you found things so far? It's been ultra competitive, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, it's been really difficult for me so far. A few issues, but yeah, we're back at the front and hopefully I'll be fighting for some wins.
Enjoy the rest of qualifying. Thanks for chatting with us.
Thank you.
Fionn McLaughlin, the Irishman, who will start 6th in race 3 a little bit later on, based on fastest lap times from yesterday. So he was one of the drivers that stopped in race 2 yesterday. He was down the pack, the Red Bull Junior, put new tyres on and went after the fastest lap and got quite close to it. So he will start well. There is the 69 car out of High Tech, Kalle Rovanperä, who gets his first experience in wet weather wings and slicks racing. So this is another new experience for the Flying Finn. And I need to say again, good morning, good evening over there to everyone watching in Finland. We've got a remarkable contingent of fans from that part of the world tuning in on our YouTube stream across every round of CTFROT this summer, which is really cool. Looking forward to seeing how Kalle goes in the wet conditions for the first time. Matt and Andrew, how do you drive in the rain? I know it's a big question, but more to the point, what's the difference between you attacking this track in the dry and going out there in these conditions? As a driver, what are you changing in the way you're driving the car?
It's that's a very loaded question there, Krause. But basically, you're actually just trying to explore the limit in each corner, because each corner offers a different level of grip. You're just trying to figure out where the limit is, what lines are the best. It's actually it can take quite a bit of time to actually find your feet and try and put down some solid bankers and some solid lap times. And for sure, that doesn't come without making some mistakes and maybe a couple of runs off the road. But yeah, it can be quite difficult. This track in the wet is actually quite a lot of fun. it presents quite a few challenges in terms of just the different surfaces, and having to be on top of that can be pretty tough sometimes.
Well, and that was my sort of answered my next question was, do you enjoy it? Is it something you go, yeah, it's raining, I can't wait to get out there?
Yeah, it is actually quite enjoyable. I really do enjoy the wet. You know, I'm actually quite happy with every time it rains over in Australia. Not that it does a lot, but yeah, I enjoy it every time. The supercar actually has quite a good wet tyre now, so it's got quite a lot of grip, which is quite good compared to the old tyre. That was very hard and very quite difficult to drive.
It certainly adds a few more nerves, though, doesn't it, the rain, just because the risk level goes up. It's like a good analogy I like to use is in the dry, when you're on the edge, it's like dancing on a butter knife. In the rain, it's like dancing on a razor blade. It certainly gets a lot harder, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, especially for the guys that probably don't have as much of experience in the wet as in these open wheelers. It can be quite tough and daunting, especially when you haven't driven the track in the wet.
There's opportunity here as well, gents, isn't there? Because this is a wet qualifying session, yes, but this sets the grid for the feature race, which is at about 4 o'clock local time this afternoon. Conditions could be entirely different by then. There's not that much rain in the forecast for today, so it may not rain again. It could be a very different circuit. So this could be opportunity. If you're going well in the wet, get yourself up the grid, and even if you don't have that dry weather pace.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, when we looked at that shot earlier of that puddle, there was still rain in the puddle, so the track isn't drying quite like what we thought it may do. Yes, I think it is still going to be dry by the end of the session because of these wet tyres and the aero on these cars. It's basically like a vacuum going over the race line, drying the race line out. So we're still going to see the fastest laps towards the end of this session. And just a little bit of a form guide. There was wet testing on Thursday. Not everyone went out, but actually fastest in that session was Evan David. So he obviously enjoyed those wet conditions. And Nakamura was second and fast in that session with James Wharton in third. So it gives you a bit of an idea. There has been some guys that did a lot of wet running. Others opted not to do any wet running, like Ryan Wood on screen there. He didn't go out at all in that second practice. So pretty soft sort of form guide, but it gives you a bit of an idea anyway.
Now, we've talked about the driving side of the wet weather equation. What about from the team point of view? What's an engineer going to go to the boys in the garage and go, right, this is what we're changing, this is what we're doing? What do you do to a car to get it ready for these conditions?
The first thing is going soft on the car, softening everything up to allow the car to pitch, to roll, to move a lot more, to load that tyre better. The other thing you're most likely to do as well is put more aero into the car as well, to force the car to the ground harder, to work those wet weather tyres harder. So those are the sort of things that the engineers are looking for, to allow that pitch and roll just that bit more to make the car work harder. The other one I'm looking forward to seeing in this qualifying is Kalle Rovanperä. Obviously, with his background, he's done a lot of amazing things on slipperier surfaces, shall we say, with his rallying background, two-time world rally champion. So quite looking forward to seeing how Kalle Rovanperä gets on in this session.
Theo McLaughlin was just off the road at turn 1, so very wide. The exit of the corner, unfortunately, didn't get dragged into the gravel trap on the outside of the corner, because when you're in that, you are not being removed without the help of the local tractor. So he was fortunate to be able to continue onwards, and we'll need to clean those tyres. We'll start getting some representative lap times. They've had one out lap. Wow, look at the way Freddie Slater just chucked the car into the corner, all the lock, trying to get understeer in when the front pushes across, but it helps generate a little bit of front tyre temp. Yeah,
and you can see there Kalle just experimenting with his hands of how much front he actually has coming into the corner, and he's almost looks like he's turning in 3 or 4 times, but you're actually just trying to judge how much grip you have and when to finally release the brake and roll the speed through the corner.
As Kalle rounds around to start another lap as we start seeing everyone go across the start-finish line to complete their first flying lap. So far, Louis Sharp and Ryan Wood first and second, but those lap times are going to come down big time from what we've seen so far, as again, Kalle running super wide on through turn 1 there. So whether he slightly pinched a brake or he's chosen that line to experiment again, and that's what these laps are all about, aren't they, Matt? These first one's about putting the car in all different places to figure out where the grip is.
Absolutely, you can see him there really testing the limits and yeah, just figuring out what this car's like when it's sideways, and just getting a bit of a feel for it and trying to, you know, bring your confidence up to then start to really push the limits.
Love the attitude on the car through turn 4 there. Little flick of opposite lock from the Finn, 25 years of age, and the last rally of New Zealand, Repco Rally New Zealand, he won. So he's got priors on low grip surfaces in this part of the world. Let's see what he can do. He qualified 9th for the feature race at Hampton Downs, which was a really impressive performance. Was a second away from pole position there. So there has been pace in here. 16th and 10th in the 2 races yesterday. Qualified 14th for race 1. So this rapid learning process that the Finn is having to get up to speed to, it's coming thick and fast for him, but every time he gets behind the wheel, there is improvement from Kalle Rovanperä. And the weight of expectation as well on this guy is enormous. He's a double world champion, but in a completely different discipline to what he's in now. So there's a lot of expectation. The results will come. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Ryan Wood has gone fastest with a 1 minute 33.3, 2/10 quicker than Louis Sharp. Zach Schooler's just jumped into the top 6. Kanato Lee has as well for high-tech into 5th position. Rovanperä still 7th at a 1 minute 36.0, so going along nicely. Still some times to tumble. James Wharton, winner yesterday, has gone up the order to 3rd position. Ernesto Rivera now up to 5th. Freddie Slater to 6th place. We're watching Ugo Ugochukwu, the championship leader, who if he can't win, he's finishing 2nd. And if he's not 2nd, he's 3rd. He is a point scoring and podium finishing machine at the moment.
Yeah, and it was super impressive the way he qualified yesterday as well. Been struggling in testing, been struggling in qualifying as well up until the last couple of laps as he runs very, very wide through the second to last corner, just trying to get the car stopped. But managed to finally get it stopped at the end there and get through. But at the moment, he's just got across the start-finish line and down in 13th. So I don't think we've seen the last of Ugochukwu here. He'll get it together. He'll know what he's doing there. And that's the thing, isn't it, Matt? As a driver, you're constantly thinking. From what he done in that corner there where he ran wide, you're already thinking about what you need to do better that corner. There's so much going on to get through the situation, isn't there?
Yeah, it's actually quite funny where if you sort of make a mistake in one corner, you actually somehow come around the next lap and you actually remember, oh, okay, I've got to do this and that. And you remember that for each and every different corner around the track. So it's quite a funny thing, but you can see there he's actually really fighting it. So I'd say he's still waiting for the temperature to come up in those Pirelli wets.
Ryan Wood's gone quickest with a 32.9. Louis Sharp did a 33.1. It was immediately beaten by Ryan. Race 1 winner yesterday. James Wharton 4th, Kanato Lee 3rd. Rovanperä jumped up to 6th place, and Theo McLaughlin now goes to 7th. We follow Ugochukwu around. He's 15th at the moment. This is an important lap, and he's quite a way off Yevon David, who goes to the top. 42.4 in the first sector. Ugochukwu only 43.4, so almost a second off the quickest time in Sector 1 at the moment. The 18-year-old American is struggling in the wet conditions early in this qualifying session, but as we saw yesterday, he has an ability to pull a lap out when he needs it. What's the championship leader got? He's got 48 points to the good over the field, but that lap only good enough for 13th position at the moment, 34.7. Yevon David has gone fastest.
Looks like at the moment, Ugochukwu there, he looks like he's genuinely struggling a bit, doesn't he? He's, the way the car's moving around through that last section there, he's pushing on, but it's just not quite happening for him at the moment. But from what we've seen, I know there's only just over 3.5 minutes remaining in this session, but he's certainly struggling at the moment. But Yevon David, he's obviously was quick on Thursday in testing, and he's backed it up today. He's so far fastest, so great to see the Sri Lankan at the moment with his Sri Lankan group coming down later on the day. There's a convoy coming from Auckland with a lot of Sri Lankans coming to support their man, Yevon David, today.
It's about the most un-Sri Lankan weather you could possibly get for them today. Yevon David quickest. Ryan Wood just went 2nd on the lap. We saw him cross the line. 0.06 of a second he missed out. Purple first sector quickest of anybody that lap. Ryan Wood didn't nail the middle sector, which is where he lost some time. Ernesto Rivera jumps up to 4th place. 17 years of age from Mexico City, is proving to be one of the little flying under the radar stars of the championship so far. Wood quickest again in Sector 1. That's where he's been quickest of anybody.
So here goes Ryan Wood. He's making his way down into turn 11. He's got a purple Sector 1. As he makes his way through turn 11, got to be super patient on the throttle. He's got Latourette up in front of him, and he'll know this. He'll be wanting to try and clear him down to the last sector. He will be watching his delta on his steering wheel there as he makes his way to the last corner. He's still got enough room, but he's backed out of it.
Yeah, a personal best middle sector for Ryan Wood, but elected to bail out of that and just get some clear racetrack in front for this push lap as Yevon David goes quicker again than anybody in the first sector. So the Sri Lankan's got genuine pace at the moment. We're following Ryan Wood. He's second.
Yeah, some people actually, as Louis Sharp just goes to the top there on a 32.7, some people actually like the feeling of the car moving around in the wet and actually end up going slightly better than they might do in the dry. So that can happen as well, as Ryan looks like he's got himself some pretty good track position now and looking pretty calculated as he's using a bit of curb.
White gloves should be mandatory in open wheel racing as Jack Taylor goes to the top. That's a little surprise. 32.6 from the young Aussie. 0.06 of a second quicker than Louis Sharp. Yevon David across the line, car number 21. You cannot miss it on the racetrack. He stays third. Final sector was where he lost the time. He's less than a tenth away from pole, but right now he's on the second row of the grid.
Yevon David there just getting himself a bit of clear track up in front. This will be his last lap. A minute to go in the session as Ryan Wood heads towards turn 11. Once again, he's done his personal best sector one as Ugachukwu. He's got it sorted up into P1.
33.3, a tenth and a half over Jack Taylor. It could be the star of this session. That is a massive lap from the championship leader, who at no point this session has looked like having the pace to challenge for pole position. Let's follow Ryan Wood to the line. Personal best first sector, fastest of anybody in the middle sector. Is this good enough? He'll get one more go if he wants it. Across the line, Ryan Wood goes to the top. 31.6. Pulls a second over the field, Ryan Wood. Louis Sharp second. Yuanpu Cui goes to third place. The Chinese driver jumps up the leaderboard. Ugachukwu back to third position.
The only thing for Ryan there is he's now on the back of Latourette again. So this last lap where the track is getting drier, he's going to struggle to maximise it because of being held up.
Jack Taylor has gone to fourth place, hasn't qualified better than 10th so far. Here's Yevon David, fastest of anybody in the first sector. The checkered flag is flying. So the lap you're on is the lap you're on. Where's the improvement? Oh, he goes to second. Great lap, Yevon David. He's provisionally on the front row of the grid. Ryan Wood's going on with it again. He wants to go quicker. Purple in the first sector. Has anybody else got a lap? Ugachukwu, who was on pole a minute ago, is currently 10th. 10th for the championship leader. Here's car number 4. Should be some improvement here. Oh, he improves the lap time, but not the position. He's going to start this one 10th.
Louis Sharp has done his fastest first sector, and Jack Taylor has also gone purple in sector 1.
Freddie Slater was quickest in the middle, but stays 7th at the moment. Ryan Wood's middle sector wasn't particularly impressive.
Got held up by Latourette there, had to get past him, so this is unfortunate for him. But looking at the times as well, Kananto Lee's just done the fastest sector 2. Everyone is going quicker on this last lap here.
Final few cars across the line. Kananto Lee and Jack Taylor could be the ones to challenge here. Here's Taylor, hasn't qualified better than 12th so far. For Giles Motorsport, big moment in the final corner and a moment coming out of it as well. Oh, he goes to the top, 31.3, Jack Taylor, great lap. Right at the end of qualifying. He pulls that one out of the fire and grabs pole position. What an incredible lap, 1 minute 31.3. He puts 2 tenths on Ryan Wood. And the driver 16th in the championship, 17 years of age from Launceston in Tasmania, has got a pole position for Giles Motorsport. What a lap.
Massive lap by him to pull that off, even with that mistake at the last corner. Wasn't his best sector for that part of the track, so for him to pull that off is massive. So well done, Jack Taylor.
There's Stephen Giles, the team boss, former McLaren engineer. He's an absolute guru at car racing, just in general, so I'm not surprised that they've delivered, and he's found a little talent here. He was a race winner last year in GB4 UK in Great Britain, So I'm not surprised that in the wet conditions, young Jack has delivered. What a qualifying session that was. In the rain at Taupo, Jack Taylor and Ryan Wood on the front row of the grid. Yevon David, personal best qualifying performance. Kanato Lee in 4th place for High Tech and Louis Sharp in 5th. James Wharton 6th in front of Yuampu Trey. That's his best qualifying performance of the season. Freddie Slater, Rivera, Jin Nakamura in 10th. Ugo Ugochukwu, the championship leader, is 11th. That's massive for the feature race for the Denny Hall Memorial Trophy this afternoon. Theo McLaughlin and Zach Schooler. Wow, Zach Schooler's going to start from pole position in race 3, and he's going to start 13th for race 4 in the championship. There's Yevon David, and the first of the Team Sri Lanka fans here this weekend. There will be more. He's qualified 3rd. Kalle Rovan-Pera 15th. Ricardo Baptista, Cooper Shipman, Seb Manson 18th. And Trevor Latourette rounding out the field. Boys, what a ripping qualifying session.
Yeah, where do you start with that one? Every lap was just getting faster and faster. The lap times were tumbling. Obviously, Ryan Wood got affected on his last lap, being held up by Trevor Latourette, but that's nothing to do with Trevor. It's just an unfortunate situation, but luckily Ryan's lap before was still good enough, but there is can't take anything away from this man. Jack Taylor, awesome lap by him.
This is the closest he's ever raced to home. So he disappeared from Australia very early in his career. It's about as close as he's going to get to racing in Oz at the moment. What an impressive lap, Matt Payne.
Man, I tell you what, he came from nowhere. That was seriously impressive. You can see he's really challenging the car and sliding around in those conditions. So he's obviously comfortable with it, and he's ripped a proper lap.
Yeah, even with that mistake that he made at that last corner, we thought he'd blown it all together, but it was still enough. The rest of the lap was absolutely stellar to be able to rip that out and go P1 for the feature race this afternoon.
A cracking helmet going on too. That's a very, very cool lid as he celebrates down in Allied Petroleum Victory Lane. We'll hear from him in a second. This sets up a really spicy Denny Hall Memorial Trophy race this afternoon. Jack Taylor's on pole position though, and as part of getting pole in Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania, you get the absolute privilege of chatting to Greg Rust.
Jack, come on over. Congratulations. That was mighty. Where did that come from and right at the very end?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, to be honest. I think we had obviously some wet running on Thursday. I think there's a lot of potential. Just a couple of simple mistakes for me, but yeah, I think I just went out there, did everything right. Team gave me a good car, and yeah, we got pole position. So,
what does that mean to you and to the team here from Giles Motorsport too?
Obviously, yeah, I'm very happy. You know, it means a lot to me. You know, it's been a difficult start to the season, but yeah, to get a pole position is, yeah, I'm very happy with it. Yeah.
And so you should be. Pole for the feature race. Congratulations. There he is, Jack Taylor. Put your hands together, everybody. Well done. Let's go to second. We'll bring Ryan Wood in. Now, we thought you had it, mate. You kind of you hit the pause button, really dug deep and bolted together a mighty lap that we thought at one point was good enough for the top spot.
Yeah, congrats to Jack and Giles. Yeah, pretty cool accomplishment. So, yeah, for myself, really good to, you know, back up our speed from yesterday. The wet weather's threw a spanner in the works, but the boys and girls at MTech, again, have given me a fast car. So we'll just try execute this afternoon. We've got race 3 coming up, then race 4. So, look, I'm happy. That last lap I was on was pretty decent, and, yeah, just caught some traffic. So we've got 20-something laps to hopefully not catch any traffic and be out front.
What did it feel like? And the fact that you didn't really opt in on Thursday hasn't hurt you, has it?
Look, I don't know if it has hurt us or it hasn't. Like, yeah, you're still second, but I'm sure if we went out and used the set of tyres, we probably would have learnt a little bit more. But all in all, to just roll back out, scrub set, and, you know, we're pretty happy. So all in all, a good start to our Sunday.
Saturday was a ripper for you. Front row for the feature. Congratulations.
Thank you. Cheers.
There he is, Ryan Wood. Let's bring in third place. And I can tell you, as he pulled into victory lane here, Yevon David, man, the response from the fans here was huge. Congrats.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, it was great quality. First top 3 of the season. So obviously would have wanted to be P1 and P2, but congrats to Jack and Ryan. But yeah, it was an interesting quality. We didn't expect rain today, so very happy to have it.
Take the rain. Tell us about the response, most importantly. And we've been covering covering it in the broadcast about the roll-up of Sri Lankan fans that are coming today. This is mighty, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the Sri Lankan community hasn't arrived yet, but the fans here are already super happy, so it's really nice to see, super grateful. But when the Sri Lankan fans come and see that we're on the second row, I think they'll be very happy, so couldn't be more excited for later.
We can tell from the smile, P3, what it means. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Yev and David. It's time now for our presentation. Delighted to be joined by Josh Greenland, Category Manager for the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy. Thank you, Josh. And that is the pole position. Very special one for Jack Taylor, the Australian from Giles. How about it, ladies and gentlemen? Qualifying, wrapping up for the feature race of the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy. He's got a great smile on his face there. We are just about done with our coverage here on YouTube this morning. We hope you've enjoyed it. Round 3 of the Repco Next Gen NZ Championship will continue at about 12:30 New Zealand time today. So wherever you're tuning in around the world, just check your guides for times there. And we have an unbelievable lineup of racing, including Formula Atlantic, some heritage touring cars and a whole lot more. And a special feature. Some of the CTFROT drivers took in a bit of skydiving during the week. Did Ryan Wood jump? You'll find out a little bit later today. Bye for now.